Right, guys, GM, welcome back to another episode of the Graviton Podcast. We have the very, very exciting co-founder of Bullieverse here with us, Mr. Murali Reddy. वैसे by name he is Murali Reddy, but when it comes to being an entrepreneur, he's like the Prem Khurana of this business. इस धंधे में बहुत पुराना. So I was going through your profile, Murali. After about 8 years as a lead software guy across Agile and IBM, you took your first plunge as an entrepreneur as a co-founder of Lukery, which was a gamified men's apparel sort of setup. And then you spent, I think, a good 7 years of your time post that understanding macroeconomics and microfinance and the word ecosystem before it became cool. You spent time at InvestNet, and I was going through the wealth management solutions that it offered. Immediately post that, this is an interesting turn. You decided to start Cognito Chain, which was also a blockchain focused on microfinances. And then starting May 21, the rest is history. Then came Bullieverse. We were just, the entire team was going gaga over the graphics in the video. We saw the Bull Run trailer a couple of minutes back together with all of our teammates. We're going to play it back at the end of the episode for our viewers as well. And what a journey, man. So I remember running into you, but you were extremely busy during the DeFi report launch with Stream DYDX. And you are an inspiration for Web3 founders everywhere. In addition to being somebody with whom I can share anecdotes about BSNL's dial-up, because everybody whom I've spoken to is younger. And this is the first time I'm meeting somebody who was on the internet before it became cool.
You are making me look like a dinosaur, actually.
No. So I am 32. I feel like a dinosaur all the time because I'm not. So the first episode we did was with the 16-year-old founder of Z Finance, right? And he's never heard of it. He's never had to see dial-up. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's heard of it, but no. And so you've seen it all. You understand money. You understand business. You've raised $4 million. This is just a plug for people who've seen so far. And on behalf of founders everywhere in India, I'm going to ask you, your best tips about the entire process. But let's start with where we left off. From the exciting world of finance, from a 7-year career, you were an expert in UI. You started your journey with user interfaces, really understood. I think that was an important phase for the Indian tech industry to grow up to understand how India would embrace or how the digital adoption of finance would happen. What would get people to enter their credit card information online without being really afraid. And you covered that journey. Then you rose to the position of a director at InvestNet, and that's when you took the leap into crypto. So what facilitated the shift into Web3 is where we want to start off.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here today, Shom. Pretty exciting for me, and really great to talk to you about my journey, especially if it really inspired some of the founders, right? So I have started my career in 2004 as a techie. Over first a decade of my career, I was in tech field. Primarily nurturing and growing some of the innovation teams in companies like, as you mentioned, IBM Labs, InvestNet, right? So I was always passionate on starting something of my own. That's when I started my lot of stints I have done before. But in 2015, I started an e-commerce based startup, Lukery, primarily into men's fashion. Probably to draw a parallel here, there is a Roposo. One of the app used to be very famous that time. I remember. And this was okay, wonderful. So that was a female version. That's mainly for women, and this is for men. We started, and it was good. We acquired good number of users, over 100K users we acquired, and then I took a successful exit from it in 17. That's when I started little bit heard more about Bitcoin everywhere, and then very curious about knowing about things, what it is, and was it a Ponzi scheme or is it real? Just want to understand more, and read some of the books on Bitcoin. Really fascinated with the overall thing, because I remember reading a book called Sapiens, where author talks about one of my favorite
books. Yes, why did money evolve in the first place?
Exactly. That is what main point was. Why did money evolve? Why people are like this? And then a lot of different important fundamental topics it touches, right? In that, one of the important fundamental topic about money is before banking system, how it used to be, right? So that is what we are actually touching basics with Bitcoin, right? So that is when I understood, and wanted to dig more into that and started with a couple of investors. Until you burn hands, you will not learn about things here. So use MetaMask, use and then lose some money in some shit coins, we call it as, right? And that's how, I mean, burn money
I've
during
done
the
my share. I've done
2017,
my
18.
share of burning money on shit coins.
Everybody like us. So, but one thing is we are all there, right? We are all there through that journey. That is the most important thing. Once people come during the exciting times and then leave when it is downtrend. But if you pass that sinusoidal curve completely, that is when you learn a lot of stuff. That is when we become dinosaurs in this industry, right? So a kind of dinosaur, if it is about 5 to 6 years in this field, is like 50 years in other field. Yeah. So me and I, that's when during that phase of initial investments and doing a couple of layer one protocol investment, I met my current partner, co-founder Srini Anala. We both he generally guy who keeps thinking a lot about some of the ideations and all. I'm more of an executionist and he's more of a thinker, to say. Brain behind even current Bullieverse too.
Scott
Once
Harley usually classifies his founders as the techie and the fuzzy. So if I had to take a guess, you are the strong technology executor and he's more of the storyteller and the person who's running
I'm
when you said
more of
ideas, can we go a little deeper
yeah.
into that?
Yeah, so I'm more of a guy who has a knack of working with people. So that is what I have mastered from quite some time. I don't say master; it's more like liking people, working with them. This is what is my fundamental strength.
You've
And
always
he's the
worked
guy
in
who,
large teams and you have that
yeah,
experience of
I have
managing a
managed
large team of
large
developers.
teams and was a lot of into leadership roles, not just a management kind of leadership, more of a leadership kind of roles. It's more not more driven more with the authority. It is more driven more with the inspiration type of. So I have been into that space from quite some time, and I love working with people, and I love making friends and working as a teams and driving, motivating people, this kind of stuff, right? So he's the guy who thinks a lot about ideas and brings something, and then he bounces something with me, and then we both ideate more and blow it up. And that's how we started Cognitive Chain. We wanted to build a consortium of microfinance companies, which is a kind of some of these, it's bits and pieces everywhere. We wanted to get into everything into the blockchain platform, enterprise blockchain. And we started working with Telangana government. We approached somebody there, and we started with one of the government entity called as Trinidhi. We piloted and got over 150K users during that time in one of the district, and generating credit scoring, algorithm credit scoring for them, which these credit scoring can be carried forward to other institutions when they go, so that they have a history to be maintained, right? Especially I'm talking about unbanked and underbanked people.
And you're
That's
talking
when we
about as
started.
early as 2018, 19, 20, that sort of.
18 mid is when we received an MOU from Telangana
So
government during
algorithmic,
August.
the algorithmic credit scoring on blockchain was light years ahead of its time in 2018, and to onboard 150K users. Yeah, I also
Definitely.
we have to give a shout out to the Telangana government. From what I understand, they're extremely cooperative towards the
Definitely.
Web3 space. But
Very,
yeah,
very
that's an amazing
cooperative,
start.
especially and the leadership of Mr. KTR and J.S. Ranjan sir and Rama ma'am, right? Very, very cooperative in terms of new tech, anything what we talk about, right? They are very approachable. So that is when we started this, but overall with the pandemic, things slowed down from the side of it. That overall sector slowed down, and during that phase, we were involved with some of the blue chip that time. I mean, of course, now blue chip too. For example, Bored Ape and some of these NFT communities. It was amazing to see a strong communities are being built over JPEGs.
You saw the
It was
development of the Bored Ape community from its initial days?
from the time of it was launch time 0.08 ETH, right? So
That
yeah,
explains a lot
we
about the culture and learnings on Bullieverse at 33,000 members. I keep noting the
yeah.
activity. And
It is definitely, I mean, they have to say there are some companies who have started the revolution during that time. We have to
yes,
give it out for them. We definitely respect what they have done for the industry, like probably in the early stage for gaming Axie, what they have done, right? So, and we learn from their positives and then negatives also, and then we evolve from there, right? That's how any companies evolve, right? So, what we have understood with this is these companies are building a very strong communities who are brand ambassadors for them. And we also hold some couple of apes during that phase, and we were involved with the Discord communities. And especially Shrinu was the guy who was mainly with their Discord and communicating with all these, right? So um, then he has bounced an idea with me, and we both like sat together and then wanted to understand a little bit more on how long this journey will continue just with JPEGs. Can we do something more out of it, right? So because this whole NFTs itself gives a very, I mean, very unique thing that we can hold property, digital property, which can be verifiable on chain, right? So then what more we can do with this when we thought about, and then we were involved with some of the gaming communities too. And then my son burnt my money most of the time with my credit card. I only get this alert and then see that, I mean, what this guy has used on, right? With Fortnite, especially this Minecraft, he buys a lot of assets, right? So with that, and then one day he was crying. Why you were crying? And when we asked, I lost my account, and then I earned a lot of stuff there, and then I lost all those kind of stuff. It is actually he forgot his password, right? So after that, we were able to regain and get back. But that is a fundamental problem if you see in the Web2 world, right? That assets what you earn there are not your assets. That is the company assets there. Once you are out of that account, it's not yours. You don't own
We're
them.
talking about
And then
in-game purchase scenarios in the existing Web2
exactly
space. Yeah, true.
right?
I felt the same about Asphalt.
Is,
I spent so much money on this game called Asphalt, and then I think there was a
yeah,
switch in account or devices, and it's gone.
it's not, I mean, it's not yours, right? When you wanted to go to other game, want to play with that, and this game you can't carry forward those assets, and it's not yours, and you can't monetize them if you really have put in so much of your social capital there, right? That is one strong aspect. Other aspect is about building a culture or community with JPEGs, right? We wanted to mix these two. We want to combine these two and build a strong gaming ecosystem revolving around NFTs. And NFTs means it's you. It's like avatars, right? Avatar, it's you. And then you take your avatar, make a 3D version of, have a 3D version of it, go play games, have fun, meet more new people, earn some rewards, collectibles, could be NFTs or could be other tokens, and then be able to carry forward those NFTs to other games, and then being able to convert this and then take the cash, right? So it's a whole system we wanted to build, and that's a vision of building an open metaverse. The first tweet from Bullieverse was building an open metaverse. So that's how we started. We bootstrapped our community whole time by spending our own time on Discord, probably 15-16 hours a day. We both cover 2 time zones like UK, India. I mean, he is more of a UK plus to US guy. I'm more of an Asian time frame. So we used to spend a lot of time, and then
Which translates into
I
you're
have
a
to
morning
give.
person.
Yeah, I mean, I have to give some of these things I have to give out to Srini with respect to his thing of spending at least 15-16 hours talking to all these US. That's the reason we have a very strong US and UK community now. And then we have a lot of gaming community from Indian regions. I'm more closer in this part of the area. And then I have built that whole overall initial team, and we have we were just 4 members when we launched our NFTs, and we raised about 2 million. We sold out absolutely no influencer promotions. No, I mean, we have not onboarded any influencers officially. It's completely all bulls got sold out. 10,000
So you
bulls.
raised
We
the
raised
first
about
2
two
million by selling your bull NFTs.
by selling our NFTs. $2.1 million we have raised from there. It was a 4-member team. There was a guy from IIT Gauhati, very sharp, very young guy, and then me, Srini, and then one more person. Right, one more person is like who is our engineering head now, Vamsi,
So both
who
your
handles
first
all
two
our things.
hires, other than the co-founders, were technology hires.
Yeah, correct. It was. So after that, fortunately from our team, we started forming a team from then. We wanted to build a game, and we promised our community that we'll give a game in 90 days time. Some nice simple game where they can get their avatars into life by 3D characters, play with their own avatar, and then earn some collectibles out of it. So that whole experience we wanted to give them as quickly as possible. That's the reason we didn't enter into a complete AAA gaming kind of stuff, which will take about 2 years, 3 years down the line time, right? So we wanted to do something quick, but a very good quality one for our community to enjoy. So that is when we started a building team. We recruited people, primarily creative team from India, mostly from IIT Guwahati and these areas, who have worked with us before also during this NFT sale. And then we got them full time, and we built team in UK. Most of the gaming development team is in UK, and some of our community guys who really like our commitments, and we are very fortunate for that to get some of the people from community. We recruited them. For example, our growth head Tyler is from our community. He was our bull holder, and then he became more of an endorser, and then he came into he joined our team full time, supporting growth and community aspects, right? So fantastic guy. And then we recruited Movin, who is a game producer. He is also from our community member. And then a lot of mods who came, who are working with us, are who are our bull holders, and then turned out to be our moderators, and they really support us very passionately. That's how we formed a team. We are about 26 members team now, across India, US, and UK. This is our team currently. Yeah, I mean, like, I can probably go on and on about it, so would leave it to you for the
No, this is very enlightening. You actually ended up answering two of my follow-up questions. I was about to ask you, what's the team size right now? Do you guys see yourself expanding to like a So I asked this question to founders who are scaling up really fast. You raised about $4 million institutional capital in 2021, end of 2021.
Yeah, correct.
And GravityX was a participant in the seed round, I believe.
Yes.
That's how that connect begins.
Yes.
And post and you're still on that runway, considering that you started your journey with a raise via your NFTs of $2.1 million. So I do not think that burn rates or that sort of a problem is something that is prima facie a challenge to you right away. A lot of founders will actually want to ask you this: while fundraising, did you face any extensive challenge? If so, what, and what was your workaround around it?
Okay. So one thing is that we are fortunate that we have initially we have raised some funding using NFTs, right? So we were not actually very in a pressure to raise funds.
And one more question, just preceding this part: how you mentioned that you guys wanted to go with a lightweight MVP, and you know, so from ideation, from when you decided this is what we are going to do, and from launching to the first NFT sale, what was that timeline? And second is, when it came to the game development, which includes utility of your token, what was that MVP development timeline? Because that is something that I think founders will relate to directly, as a correlation between how much time it took there and the difficulty that you have in fundraise or the ease of fundraise later.
So actually, that time it was like we did everything from scratch. I mean, there is something called as alpha composting technique in NFTs. Like you develop different traits, have one base character, apply different traits onto it. That is called as alpha composting. We didn't even know that name of it, right? So everything we Googled. We didn't had any connects in that NFT space to ask what they have done already. We just took their things and then we did everything from scratch. Whole of our algorithms, whatever we have done for this, right? Everything was written by Vamshi, our engineering head, complete Python algorithms. And now with the algorithms, what we have, we can actually build our own tools for that. So such an extensive work we have done. It took about, from a starting ideation to the NFT launch, we took about 2 months time overall. Because we have to get the NFTs art to be done. We have to, it went through multiple iterations. And main thing is, we need to get a very good artist who really are aligned with our thought process, what we have in mind.
The immersive artwork in Necrodemic, and I mean, that's just brilliant. That's very essential to gameplay, and you really cracked that. So 2 months is just 60-day timeline for heading towards an MVP is almost, it is unprecedented. So that's
it is fast. Just that me and Srini, right? So we generally, whenever we want to start, because especially you fail fast, right? That is what we have to do in this world. especially when we're talking about, I mean, in this part of Web3 space, we can't take years and years to develop something, right? We have to show something quick to people, but build more valuable things on top of it. So you should have a bigger vision, but show something quickly. That is very key. So otherwise, if we take more time, so that whole energy will be lost. So what we have done is whole team building. I used to do get the team thing done, everything, and then whole community building aspects Srini used to take care, and then we had some other support team. So we did that during first 2 months time. And to say honestly, it was a fag end of the NFT bull run, to say. But even then, there were a lot of collections launched during our time who raised money, but they are not there now. They couldn't sustain because maybe long-term vision is not there. It's only managing the community with the JPEGs only was their vision. Probably because of that reason, I'm not very sure, but they couldn't continue. But our vision was bigger. It's just the NFTs are only to build initial community, strong community of our own, to say, brand ambassadors, right? But after that, gaming and taking Bullieverse as an entertainment brand, Web3 entertainment brand is our vision. So that with that vision, from that time we took about 90 days time to release our alpha version of our game, Bear Hunt game, and then it went on testing, alpha testing, and then we launched that game in the next year, May.
Okay.
Bear Hunt full game. But for that, we had to build 10,000 3D models for all the 10,000 bulls. So that was a challenging task, which took about 2.5 months time with a good number of resources for us. And this has to be algorithmically picked from the game based on your NFT JPG picture. It should recognize the traits. It has to do that. So those all technical aspects took us some time because we were forming team freshly. It's all new team completely, right? So you need to be able to work with those people, and then but fortunately we didn't had any attrition from our starting time. Whoever came to us have stuck with us, and they really like working with our, I mean, we have such a culture that we though we have good timeline, I mean, tough timelines, but the way we work in very flexible way. So that's the reason we were able to deliver a lot, right? So over last 1.5 year, we have built our own NFT marketplace. We didn't pick from anywhere, no copy paste kind of stuff. We have a lot of things to be built on our own because of the loot box system. Multiple things are there. We have built our own NFT marketplace. We have already released 2 games. Last 2
Necrodemic and
games,
Bear
and
Hunt.
Necrodemic and Bear Hunt, and now Bull Run is on production currently. Bull Run will be a casual game, and Necrodemic is a game which is a laptop version, PC version game, which currently mobile version is also being built now. And parallelly, we are working on a player progression system and battle pass mechanisms. So these are all the things which will get a stickiness for the game. We have about 3,000 odd active players currently on Necrodemic. This number can be much bigger once we release these stickiness factors, especially sense of achievement for a player, and owning something more. So those kind of stuff. Currently, we have only acquired players by conducting competitions, but our long-term vision is to have more sustained way of regular gaming engagement. For that, we are working on multiple stuff actually. Yeah, Bull Run is primarily to get this casual gaming audience. In India, especially 70% plus are mobile gaming audience, and they really love playing on mobile. So to cater to that audience, primarily who are mobile based, so we are launching Bull Run. It is more from a community engagement point of view also. You'll see an alpha version out very soon. That's going to be very interesting. Though it has some concepts picked from a regular Web2 gaming, which is some popular genres, but it's going to have our own elements, and it's going to be very interesting.
First of all, thank you. Again, you answered subtly one of my other questions. The fundraising thing, which a lot of people keep asking about, you are obviously and visibly extremely user focused. That even as a founder today, the passion with which you sort of encapsulate what you have in store for the users and for the community speaks volumes about why the other side of it has been smooth running for you. But again, since for the interest of capturing this for our founders, what would you say were your top if at all? I mean, I understand that, everyone's journey is different. Did you have viable challenges that you faced during your fundraise, getting lead investors? How did you do
Yeah.
this product storytelling? Another thing that I'm interested in is you and Shini obviously have this larger grandiose vision in your head of Bullieverse expanding into a Web3 entertainment brand. I love that phrase. And not just an NFT marketplace, not just a token platform, not just a
Gaming
gamified
metaverse. Yeah.
startup. But yeah, that's a
Yeah.
beautiful way to imagine it. But how did you translate this vision to your potential investors during your initial fundraise stages?
When we had our fair share of challenges when we were pitching, right? So generally, this is a market where one good investor comes, then other people will flock, right? So that is how it will be, because it is already idea is validated by somebody, so that it will become much easier for other investors to follow. So, but in our case, one thing is we didn't had much of pressure. What I was talking about, right? That is one thing. Second thing is we have whatever vision we have, we wanted to show that in our community, with the community buzz, all these aspects of it, right? When you have a little bit of community, I mean, strong community initially, who are really a brand and endorsers for us, it works becomes much easier, because any investor comes also, they look at your traction in your socials, and
Yes.
are you really engaging with the people? And then I'm sure a lot of these investors would have joined our Discord and observed, and also see our content, what we are producing with respect to videos, what we are producing, and the gaming trailers, what we are producing. That overall vision video we had, gaming trailer we had. So all these things is what people look for. Of course, we didn't had, by the time when we had started our discussion, we didn't had an MVP ready, but we were close to getting the MVP done. But for that, all the supporting material we had, and then we have presented that to investors. So yeah, one issue we had is like, yeah, we are Indian founders, right? At least Indian born founders.
Yes.
Srini is based out of UK. I'm totally in India. That challenge was there, and there were a lot of investors who initially rejected, came back to us once we closed our funding. We couldn't
This
we
is why
couldn't actually.
Graviton is so deeply India focused. We realize that there is this we are sort of trying to solve this particular challenge that people have. We are extremely India focused that way.
That is fantastic, considering there is a lot of young crowd in India, right? So this young crowd, this lot of booming energy is there in India. And I see most of the, when I talk to a lot of, I mean, I am connected with multiple colleges, right? So when I talk to these are college kids. These guys comes with beautiful ideas at that age of 18, 19. When I don't know what I was doing at the age of 18, 19, right? There are a lot of young crowd who has so much of maturity, and I advise for other projects who are in this space. These guys are around 20, 21, 22 and not yet passed out from college. But the maturity levels are so high, and Graviton is doing a fantastic job in focusing on Indian founders, because this is going to be a huge market. I'm telling you from a business standpoint, and it is useful for founders for sure, but from a business standpoint, it's going to be huge.
Absolutely. I witnessed it
Yeah.
firsthand when I saw, I think my first exposure to the kind of mania that's waiting this. I met Sandeep at
Yeah.
IVW at the Polygon Connect event, and I saw that he's sort of like a star around which so many things are revolving. And the kind of interest and enthusiasm which globally, not just venture capitalists, people who are trying to understand, even become a part of the ecosystem, the angle with which they are looking at the Indian development space is huge. The crypto adoption potential that we have in our country. I think earlier in April, we became the most populous country on the earth. So as me and my dad are going around now saying, now we are a majority on the planet, the majority in the house. So addressing that becomes a really interesting challenge for the first time, but a noble one at that. And I think
Yeah.
Bullieverse is doing the same thing. You're leading a Web3 first entertainment brand out of India, the fact that you've gained so much community exposure, I think we're pressed for time, so I'm going to keep a couple of more questions towards your favorite subject, which is community growth, which is obviously one of the the things that I believe founders should really focus on. So you mentioned that the community size helped in your fundraise, which helped establish your traction numbers. During your fundraise, how big was the Bullieverse community? Today, you guys are way ahead of the game.
Generally, it was about Twitter was buzzing during that time.
Like, do you remember the numbers?
Somewhere about 60k, 50 to 60k was there during that time. Yeah,
that's huge.
Main thing with us is that community is there with us from starting, right? If you see our NFT holders, close to 80% of NFT holders never sold their NFTs at all, which they have minted initially. So and they are with us first. Yeah, I mean that is very fortunate to us. I mean, fortunate we say, though we put a lot of effort, right? It should happen from other side also. It is which happened means we are fortunate. So that is from a team side as well as community side. I would tell that we are very fortunate. And yeah, so the next one important thing what we want to do, because why I'm telling that, though you didn't ask me yet, is that our growth plans in India, right? So that is one of the important aspects, because what GravityX and Graviton are doing, right? We are working in a similar fashion from other side of it, along with GravityX. We are working on. There are a lot of companies who are a Web2 current Web2 companies, as well as independent developers who needs hand holding in terms of how to come onto this particular area, this particular field. For example, launching NFTs, launching their own token, launching games with that, and how to get Web3 users onboarded, and what is that? What is the difference between Web2 and Web3 user dynamics? So all these aspects which we have gone through from last 1.5 years, right? That whole thing, we are building an ecosystem. We are working on building an ecosystem as an accelerator in Indian market for these type of founders, especially who are Web2 native, I mean, who are more from a Web2 studios, gaming studios, or independent developers who wanted
figuring out how to transition into the Web3 space, covering all these aspects. That's fantastic.
Especially from on a gaming side of it, NFTs, gaming, all this side of it, right? We'll be announcing that accelerator soon. Probably I'm giving you first-hand information before. So
I haven't
then that we feel that we are giving it back to our part to the founders in India. Like what you guys are doing from a whole Web3 standpoint, right? From a gaming and metaverse and entertainment side of it, we are doing our part.
I understand. Your experience in this field is invaluable. So I'm 100% sure that what you will be able to impart to these founders and these companies, especially who are building for GameFi and Web3, is really valuable. So thank you on behalf of India and a population and a generation in waiting for doing this. And I think, yeah, our visions as companies and brands are aligned as far as the Indian Web3 space is concerned. I think that's the best kind of messaging that I want to leave, or we want to leave our viewers with, whoever's watching so far on the Graviton podcast. What is your message if you had to summarize your learning so far? And I usually look for something deeply original. You are somebody who understands utility of currency, which is mind blowing for us. So when you mentioned Sapiens, my thought process went back to that. They started with cowries or the seashells to trade, which did not have any intrinsic real value. You couldn't sell a seashell by the seashore, but you know, because it was difficult to solve, because supply was scarce, and you defined a utility for it, as in, you know, assigning what value against what commodity, you were able to still trade. And then somewhere around the line, I think the Lydian king who came in and said, you know, gold makes my heart ache. That story is mentioned beautifully as well. It became more about the value of the currency itself. Then the double spending problem comes in. Then banking evolves as an industry. Then all of that. Now, today, in this morning, somebody on the Bullieverse community group mentioned, you know, we are all very bullish on the bull token. They said it'll hit, somebody asked, will it hit $0.5? It'll hit $5. And then me and my creative strategists are doing that calculation. Like, we all believe that bull is the next Bitcoin. Today, as we record this session, for 100 Indian rupees, you can buy approximately 500 bull tokens, like 488 to be precise. But yeah, if it teaches $5, we did the math, you will make 2 lakh rupees. So this is sort of like the potential Bitcoin that a lot of people are looking at also. And the name is fantastic. It's bull. We're waiting for the bull run.
Waiting for bull.
You have built utility into your mission. What I understood through this conversation is that your main focus is community and building utility of tokens within the gamified experience. So increasing the number of things that people can do. You have obviously achieved more than what an early stage founder, usually deems possible even and dreams. So what is your message to founders who dream of doing something exactly, or probably at par with what you're doing today?
When generally which industry to be in, right? So I feel that we should not be in a common place, because, for example, if everybody is doing something and we are also doing that particular thing, I don't know how much of value it has. Means when that's the reason when people made a lot of money when they entered into this space, when Bitcoin was called as a Ponzi scheme, right? It means when people are not believing it, a time will come where everybody will launch their own token. Even a kid will launch their own token for their value add, what they are bringing into, right? We are in a very, very nascent stages of this whole revolution of owning your own stuff, getting everything into your hands, right? We are in a right industry. First of all, trust that this whole market cycles of sinusoidal cycles are going to pass, and then again one next good run will come, and then again it will go down, again it will come, right? But one thing is that we are in a growth path. That is the most important thing. And if you have an idea, validate it with some of the do a proper validation with some of the advisors and known people in that space, and hit hard. Don't worry about the current prices, what it is there, what is the Bitcoin price today, what is tomorrow, but launch. But keep building during this time, and launch when it really matters to people outside, right? Means build value. That is what we strongly believe in. For example, whatever we are building, gaming part of it, right? Whether Bitcoin is $100,000 or current levels, right? It doesn't matter. People really like fun games. They wanted to play games, right? But what value add we are giving to the people, irrespective of that particular token price, is the thing which is a key. And your own token, when you launch, it is going to go high depending on the value add what we are delivering. Maybe sometimes it will look low because of the market conditions, because it's all about the whole economy also, right? But once we care about those things, we can give the good value to the community, good value to the users. So primarily what we have done is that we have not considered about current market conditions and then future, how it is going to be, right? Once founders wise, when we start giving a value, irrespective of the market conditions. For example, in our case, gaming, whatever we are doing. So gaming will people really love to play fun games, whether Bitcoin is at 100K or Bitcoin is at 20K, right? So it doesn't matter for them. It's the same case with bull token also, right? So we build value. Automatically these cycles will take care of it. Will take care of when you really build the value of course, when there is a strong utility around why somebody has to hold your token and use the token, right? So automatically tokens value will go appreciate well. Of course, it will not be the same way when it is a bear market and bull market, but we provide value. That is what we have to concentrate on, and automatically everything will fall into place and stay. That is the most important thing. What I would tell to the founders is stay, keep building, and this is the best time, because when everybody is worrying about the token value, we just build it and then launch it during the good phase. I'm sure a good phase will come very soon.
Thank you so much for that. That answers. So there are some very nice takeaways from this session today. Fail fast, don't fail safe, get there fast, understand, develop your learnings, focus on your community, be as user-centric and as community-centric as possible. Do not think about building the price, build utility and build value into your token, so people know why they're holding onto your token in the first place. It makes sensible sense. Believe that bull runs and bear runs will happen as a cyclic phase, and understand that you will find your place in the journey. don't forget to show up. So that's I think coming from you, who has actually seen so much. We can say you've seen the whole 9 yards, and you have an extremely exciting journey ahead of you, as Bullieverse expands into that Web3 entertainment brand that you guys foresaw. We are going to leave our users with, at the end of this video, with a brief preview of Bull Run, so that we can get everybody as excited about the mobile app as I am. I'm going to introduce my dad to it. He loves gaming on his smartphone device.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
you gained a new community user there. Do not forget to, so this is a shout out to the Bullieverse fam. I learned the word, I learned how to use the word fam in all fairness from the Bullieverse community, and it's sort of stuck on. So yeah, Bullieverse fam, if you're watching this, a special call out to, how should I put this? My men, Indie Bull, Lebul James, Murli, of course, you, Movin Tog, everybody who had me convinced that this space had to be explored, and I just had to meet you for this podcast session. So big shout out to all of those guys. If you've been watching so far, do not forget to share this on your handles. Don't forget to follow Join Graviton. Do not forget to follow at Bullieverse. Don't forget to buy the Bull token. It might be a smarter investment than you think today. So and believe in the bull run. Keep building, keep believing, and as the good overlords say, #WOGME.